All right. Happy Friday. Good to see everyone that's joining us today live on Friday, July 14th for Clear Channel. So for you guys that are new onto the channel, listen, we started this YouTube channel almost 2.5 years ago, right through the pandemic time. And we've really kind of starting to fulfill our mission, and my mission in particular, and it's to help change the world one leader at a time. A lot of times I jump on the channel, I bring on guests, and we got a few guests lined up over the next 60 days that are from massively different industries that are super successful entrepreneurs. Some people that I've worked with, a lot of celebrities and things that I'm bringing on the channel here in a few weeks, which I'm really excited to introduce you through friends of friends in the network of people that I built relationships with over time. But today I'm going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to give you guys tips, sales tips. A lot of people that watch this channel are in our organization and what I do, and I've been building sales teams for the last 20 years in different industries. So I'm going to give you guys, and listen, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you need to stay and watch all the tips. Tip number 5 is going to blow you away. It's going to help you. And I guarantee you, if you apply some of these tips, you're going to increase your paycheck. If you're in an industry where you get paid based on your performance, you get paid based, commissions and bonuses and incentives, I guarantee you, this is going to help you. So I'm going to run through it. Number one thing to do if you want to increase your productivity in a sales industry and in sales, number one is you have to know your numbers. I've worked on and done sales for many, many different companies, many different industries. I've worked with companies in the office supply industry. I worked for a company at one point where we had to deal with a company that sold trash. We literally talked trash. We went out to businesses, and it was a brokerage company that brokered the haulers and all the different trash companies, and they were able to negotiate for a small business to these big haulers. And the woman who started this company built it to a $42 million company, but they hired us to represent them in the marketplace and go out and sell their service. I've worked with energy. I've worked with telecom. I've worked with a lot of different, or wireless. We're in that today. But you have to know your numbers. There's a sales funnel. How many contacts you make. Sometimes people call people over the phone. Sometimes people meet people in person. There is then a decision maker, right? How you get to the decision maker. I don't know if it's, again, depending on the sales industry you're in. Getting in front of a decision maker is one of the hardest things to do. There's a lot of farming sometimes. In some campaigns, a lot of the time was spent farming just to get in front of the right decision maker. If you get in front of a lot of decision makers, all right, how to work on those presentations. What's that ratio? What's your ratio compared to the average in your organization, in your company? From presentation to close, what's the average in your company? Are you above average? Are you below average? Where do you fall when you get to the close? All right, if you're closing a type of customer, and again, depending on what you're selling, what is it, what's the value of that customer? Is it a low-hanging fruit? Is it a very easy customer to sign? Or is it a more challenging customer to sign up? Like, what is the different customers you're signing up? What are the value? And knowing your numbers, and then take your numbers, compare them to the top performers in your company, in your organization, and see where your gaps are. Right? Find out what you need to get better at. And this is something that when I was young in sales, again 20 years ago, I did this every single day. Right? I think of the Major League Baseball just had their All-Star game. Right? They're showing these people the stats. I mean, at the end of the game, they review their stats. How many at bats do they have? How many contacts? How many times they get on base? Like, professionals in their industry look at their numbers and know their numbers, right? In our organization, there's certain metrics to get promoted to certain roles. No one should tell you what your numbers are to get promoted. You should know, I need to do X to hit my next target. I need to hit X to hit my next bonus. But number one is you have to know your numbers. Number two, you have to be a student of the game. What you will do and how you will perform will directly reflect the effort you put in behind the scenes. Again, if you know your numbers, all right, figuring that out. How much time do you spend learning, asking? I know when I was new in sales, I literally would bring in a coffee to the top performer in the company every single day because I was trying to smooth the guy so he would spend time with me. Like, why would this guy in his mid to late 30s who had a master's and had a family, why would he hang out with the 22-year-old college kid in the sales company that just started? Right. So I'm like, I remember asking my dad, and my dad was really hard on me about sales. He said things like, well, if it's performance based and it's commission based, we're going to find out real quick if you're any good. And I'm like, oh, shit, you're right. He's like, don't call me for money, but that motivated me to get fired up to get good at things. But you got to be a student of the game. All right. Now, there's lots of different ways to be a student. Again, you can meet with people, you can read books, you can, jump on YouTube channels like this or podcasts or whatever. There's so many things at your disposal that you can do if you are a student of the game. All right. Number 3, this is specific to the actual sales. When you're out doing your sales, there will be points in the sales process that you lose impulse and the deal dies. What I would highly suggest for you to do is write it down. Step aside for a second. If you're in front of a business owner, you're in front of a customer, take a second and write down the scenario and put it on paper. Like, what was the objection? What was the scenario? What was the reason the customer didn't sign up? Why are they not moving forward from that point of the sale? When I was young in sales, I would literally do that every single day. I would write down 3, 4, 5. And back then, when I was doing small business sales, I would get in front of 4 or 5 decision makers a day. If I got in front of 6, it was like, holy smokes, I got in front of a lot of people that could say yes today. But the reality is, in sales, you're going to get more no's or not nows than you are going to get yeses. Like in baseball, you're in the Hall of Fame if you hit over 300, right? And there's that, I think it's Ohtani or whatever that guy's name is now. He's like the leading pitcher. He's the offense, leading defense. Like, he's probably the best baseball player since, the best baseball player ever is what they're saying. But even that guy, is going to miss when he's going to strike out more than he's going to actually, hit baseballs. So my point is, though, when you strike out, when you don't close the deal, when you lose the impulse, do you walk away from that scenario and just move on? Or do you take that information and literally think about how it could change? But be specific about it. And the thing is, again, when you're a student of the game, like I said, number 2, and you actually go off, you have real content. You have real information, real scenarios that you're going through, and then you can work with someone on it. And you can kind of role play with them, and you can get in front of people that can give you advice and give you perspective, right? But if you don't take the time in the sale, in the process, and have enough awareness to step aside for a second, jot down that objection, jot down the scenario, then it's just going to be a strikeout. There's going to be no learning, right? And the old saying is, you may lose the battle. Don't lose the war, right? Learn from what you're doing. Learn from what you're doing. So that's number 3. Number 4 is sales is a reflection. People you greet, people who you work with, people who sign up with you. Sales, in my opinion, is about selling you. In any product I've ever sold in my career, whether it was the energy, whether it was the office supplies, whether it was a cell phone, whatever, they buy you 90% of the time. What most people are trying to do in a sales process from a customer perspective, in my professional opinion, is they're trying to figure out if they can trust you. And so when they talk to you and they ask you questions and you're relating to them, That's why, I see young people and just communication, they tell little white lies, right? They're like, they say little things that aren't completely true. And that energy and that stuff, and they may not think it's a big deal, like, oh yeah, they say something a little bit off, like whatever. Like people feel that, right? And what people don't want to do is most people don't want to be sold, but people love buying. They love working with people they trust, and they love getting great deals. So if they trust you and they like you, and you're just completely transparent with things, with the details of the deal or whatever it is that you're working with, they feel that energy. And then as you build a relationship with them, so that's why I was telling, I had some training yesterday. We're going over ways to build impulse, right? Ways to get someone to know that, hey, listen, I need to make a decision today, right? And oftentimes the deals change, right, from day to day. I know in the industry that I'm in, deals change all the time. We're getting a new deal today that our staff that's listening to this right now doesn't even know about, right? So, but my point is things change, and if they trust you and you're building impulse with them and you're walking through the process, they're gonna sign up with you, but they have to buy you first, right? So we have this little thing in the process that we're in nowadays, and this is something we've done years with different clients. When you're in a presentation, and you get to the point where you want to close the deal, sometimes you have like a transitional statement. We do like, hey, we got good news and bad news. And some people go, bad news is, your previous provider is not going to like you, or you're going to be, they're going to miss you. Good news is, you're going to get whatever product that you're working with, right? Their service. I don't do that. I don't talk about other companies. I say, bad news is, and I talk about something we were just discussing. Bad news is the Lions are still going to suck this year, right? Bad news is the Redskins are probably going to go, 1-15 this year. That's my team. But like, I'm talking about something besides the sales, besides this product. I'm not selling this product. I'm selling myself. The good news is I'm going to help you out. The good news is that you overqualify, whatever, right? But learning that you are the intangible. You are the seventh card in the poker game. You are the river. You are, the fifth penalty kick when it's tied 4-4. You are the game changer. So that's number 4. And then last but not least, to be a winner in the sales industry, in my opinion, it's all about this. It's all about your mentality. It's all about how you think, and how you think is going to translate into how you act. Now, what most people don't know is this thing up here, your head, has something in there, small or large, depending on who you are. It's called a brain. And in this small or large brain, it's going to actually determine how this moves, right? Whatever goes in here, if there's positive going in, then the body is going to put off energy and vibrations. They have good vibes, right? You come across people that have great vibes. Well, it's because there's a lot of good going into here. If there's a lot of negatives going into here, negative people, negative thoughts, negative actions, self-talk, all that negatives, well, this body that you have is going to vibrate negatives. And what happens is successful people and people that are in business, people that like buying, they don't like working with losers. They don't like working or being around people that have negative energy, right? And so when in a buying process, if you understand that this thing, again, in your head and this brain in there is a muscle, and it never will go back to its original state once it's expanded, then this is the most important thing you have to work on. And this is not just in sales, this is in business, but most importantly in sales. And again, entrepreneurship, sales, very similar, because in business and especially entrepreneurship, this brain, this mindset, the control you have when it's working really well, then you're going to have an extremely profitable business and successful life. When it's not working so well and it's like getting in your way and it's knocking you down and doing all this stuff. And then this negative stuff's coming in this side and it's putting all the positive things are like, right in the little corner, like really, really small, and all the negatives really, really big. Well, this body's going to be really weird, and it's not going to generate what you want. Right. And why wouldn't you do the things that will help you get what you want? Right. Why do people like constantly let this negative stuff in and constantly have this self-talk, and they get really frustrated and they beat themselves up all the time? Why do we all do that? Why do we do the things that get in the way of what we really, really want? And it's because, in my opinion, of the small habits and the small disciplines that people have. And when people have the great habits and the great disciplines, then the positive goes in. And then they set up routines, daily routines, things that serve them. Like, this morning I saw a lot of our staff, going to the gym. That's a positive habit. What you're doing is you're filling up your mind and you're filling up your heart with love, because you took the time to work out. You took the time to, do some exercise. And again, in science, it's proven when you exercise and you get your body moving early in your day, then the rest of the day tends to be better. I call it the pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. The pain of discipline, the alarm going off in the morning, getting your stuff ready the night before. I always hang up my suit and my clothes the night before on my little on my door handle. Get my gym bag ready, all that kind of stuff. That's ready to go, because when I get up, I got my kids, I got things going on, and I want to get to the gym ASAP, because that 30 minutes to an hour that I spend filling up my cup, filling up my heart, translates to my 23 hours of the day or whatever else I got to do in that day. So either you have that pain of discipline, or in my opinion, and I've had it, when I don't work out and I don't take time for me, it just kind of drags on. The day's different. The energy's different. But the mentality side of things is vital. Absolutely vital. And so that's why for me, and for a lot of people I coach and a lot of people I help in the industry that I'm in, I spend a lot of time helping them with this, because I know if this is straight, then they're going to look at their numbers. I know if this is straight, they're going to feel good about being a student of the game, right? They're going to feel good about writing things down in the stores. They're going to have awareness. They're going to have good vibrations. They're going to have good energy. They're going to, essentially love themselves so other people can kind of come into their circle. But wanted to share some tips today on how to increase your sales, increase your productivity. 20 years later in this industry of developing sales teams, got a buddy of mine this morning that actually has been on the channel, my buddy Sean, who is a referee in the NFL. He's like, "Hey, Ken, I know you do a lot of consulting and coaching." He's like, "I got a buddy that owns a business that's another referee in the NFL, and I want to get you guys connected, and maybe we'll go golfing sometimes. But I think you guys could you probably know people, friends of friends or something in the industry." But I think, at the end of the day, it's like, what if you can share it with other people, it's incredibly fulfilling. And, the whole purpose of this channel is to help change the world one leader at a time. And listen, if you're in a business or an opportunity where you're looking to someday run a business or be a CEO or be in charge, or just you're in a business, you just want to make millions. You just want to have a great life. You want to have some freedom. You want to travel. You want to change your family tree. You want to do so many things. You have so many dreams, so many things you want to accomplish. If you take a couple of these things today, and it'll help you have a better day. But thanks for jumping on today. Happy Friday, everybody. Please follow us on YouTube. Go there right now. If you're watching live, for anyone in our office here, look around the room, kind of point at people. Hey, you, grab your phone real quick. Jump on the channel. We have over 100 different videos. Again, entrepreneurs, business people, HR people. I mean, there's tons of different successful people from all over the country that join us on our channel. There's some things like this where I share some different messages. But I've learned that the more you get around successful people, the more you fill your mind again with what you need and the positive things that are going to help serve you to accomplish, then the quicker you will accomplish. And, by subscribing to the channel. That could be one of it. And then obviously anyone else that you'd like to follow. But follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on YouTube. Thanks so much for your time. Happy Friday. Have an amazing weekend. See you guys.